What's going on, Vapor fans, and welcome to the season finale of the Straight Volt, episode 12. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in time and time again to PVA and checking out the Straight Volt show. It has been quite a ride. So what are we going to talk about this episode? Well, it's going to be about eFest. eFest. We've got to close up everything, wrap up everything about this brand, about this company, and everything that there is to know about it. So one could say that we are putting the final nail in the coffin. You want to stay tuned for the whole episode on this one because there's a lot of announcements to make, especially about what's coming up, what's going to happen in Season 2. So, here we go. So before we begin the show, a little word from our sponsor, Smacks E-Liquid. So good at Smacks. Shoutouts to my friends Tyra and Ronnie who make this excellent juice. You already know about it. Tyra sells it, Ronnie mixes it. So let's begin with the dive down over here. eFest along the way has released 3 main batteries. Sure, they have released all sorts of batteries throughout time, but these are the 3 main batteries that people ask about that has hit the mainstream market. First, we have the 2100 mAh series clocking in at 30 amps over here. Then we have the 2500 mAh series at 35 amps over here. And now, these days, eFest has released with their new logo over here, written this way, and this one actually says 2800 mAh. For those who can't see it too clearly, it actually says 2800 over here. Okay, pardon the light. And this thing is also at 35 amps. So, first, let's go over a little bit of discussion of these wrappers. Okay, these were released at a certain time where we really didn't know how the market was going to be. All sorts of different kinds of batteries came out. This was during the C-Class fiasco, okay? So what am I talking about when I talk about the C-Class fiasco? Well, we have to really speak about how we got into this mess to begin with. And in order to do so, we really need to bring up the lithium-ion battery guide over here. So with this chart brought up on the screen, okay, we can see over here that we have the type A, B, C, D, and E batteries, with the type A battery being somewhere around 3,500 milliamp hours, and the type E battery being at 30 amps. See, the thing about this is that we all want best of both worlds. We all want the best stats of everything, and these manufacturers, they know that. So what do? They went ahead and printed labels that would give the best milliamp hours along with the best amperage, whichever they could embellish on. But however, in order to do so, you would have to find somewhere midway, and that's how the Type C battery caused this problem. The most common culprits of the Type C battery is usually the LG HE2 or the Samsung 25R. It's because they're right in between, so different kinds of companies can over embellish what the density is and what the actual current is. So what ends up happening? We're going to start seeing labels and stickers all over the place of 30, 35 amp with 2,500 mAh, 2,600, 2,700, 2,800. They're going to try to push the limits of this as much as they can before a person can notice what the drop-off is, because your average consumer is not going to have real equipment to graph these things to tell them exactly where these batteries lie, okay? And now, in the future, we're going to see more stuff in the Type B range that also has the 3,000 mAh and 15 amps being over-embellished into 3,100, 3,200, and then the amps being pushed even as ridiculous as 40 amps to 60 amps, and we will explain more about that as we go along. So, as always, to prove what is really happening, we're going to take this over to the graphs. Graph time. So we are over here at the computer battery analyzer to look at the different kinds of graphs for the 3 batteries that we just spoke about. One would be the eFest 2100 series, the 2500 series, and the 2800 series. So let's take a look at the first one. Now, the 21 series, although promised something very good, and it actually did show up to something very good, but at the same time, it's actually kind of obsolete. So at 2100 mAh that it claimed, what did we actually get? We get 2.079, totaling 2079. So that puts us only 21 mAh off from the actual promise. So this battery actually clocks in at 99% of what it actually promises. Excellent. Very, very good job, eFest. However, the issue with this thing is that as far as the amperage is concerned on the power profile, it's just meh at best. It's somewhere around, your 20 amp batteries. But this thing being a 20 amp battery and only offering close to 2,100 mAh is just not really the battery of choice when truly compared to an LG HE2 or a Samsung 25R, things in the actual Type-C range specification. So next we move on to the 2500 series, just to finally tied up all the loose ends here, everyone. So what do you actually get? The 2500 eFest batteries, okay, you actually get a dismal 2.278 promised from the 2.5. So that's actually really, really bad, really, really sad. Not something that I would recommend to anybody, because if I had to go over to the overlay section over here and pull up my LG HE2 that I purposely even bought from eBay, not even going out of my way to get a real super high grade battery, just something that I bought off of eBay, and I will show you the overlay of the discharge over here, is far, far better than purchasing an eFest battery, okay? So moving on to the 2800 series over here. So it's promised 2,800 mAh, but what do we actually get? We get 2.91. So it becomes 104.3, making us believe that, wow, this is an excellent, excellent battery. However, sadly, once I show you what they actually are, it should turn that smile upside down. So let's bring up the results with a little touch of Mori. So, as always, this line curve looks a little bit familiar to me, and without creating too much suspense, let's just go ahead and find out what the actual answer is. Overlaying right now, we're going to go over to the straight volt battery graphs, Samsung battery, and I believe that they are the 30Q, and here we go. Does that look like the same battery to you guys? Looks like the same battery to me. Okay, so basically the first 80% of this line curve doing the same roller coaster ride from beginning to end. There is absolutely no way that the eFest 2800 series is not an actual Samsung 30Q. So what is promised on the sticker, one more time going back to it, 2,800 mAh at 35 amps. So what are they doing here? What is the game that we are playing here? Well, what happens is that it's going to feel like it's more than 2,800 mAh. You know why? Because it is actually more than 2,800 mAh, because Samsung 30Qs are actually a 3,000 milliamp battery. It also promises over here at 35 amps. They didn't go as crazy as eFan, promising 40 amps and 60 amps, where they could literally get someone hurt real quick, but they did put it somewhere around 35 amps, which is, again, something that is within the PTC protection plate can handle, all right? But there is absolutely no way at all that you are getting 35 amps. So, final thought time. I really hate to step on some toes. However, the purpose of the show is to bring truth to different kinds of battery products. And at the end of the day, there is absolutely no reason to buy anything eFest. Maybe one of the chargers are pretty good. However, as regards to batteries, there is no reason to buy anything eFest whatsoever, because at the time, during the time of the whole VTC fiasco, which is we weren't sure if we're getting real stuff or we're getting fake stuff because everybody started cloning green wrappers all over the place, we had to find sanctuary somewhere at the time, and we turned over to the purple eFest batteries. However, it is time that we now recognize all the new batteries that are out in the market, which is everything from the MJ1, the MH1, the 30Q, the HD2, the HB6s, and the new 25Rs that are coming out in mid green. You really gotta go check all those batteries out. Always, always understand that there's no such thing as the best battery. However, there is batteries that are best in class. The key is always to figure out which class is best for you. So, once again, coming back to these batteries that I have in hand, the issue with these things is that they are great. They are rewrapped from a lower bin. It doesn't make any other sense any other way around, because when you think about these batteries coming from Samsung, coming from LG, to remove the wrapper and put a new wrapper back on, it's got to cost money. So it's got to cost even more than getting them directly from LG. So how do we compensate for this price difference? Exactly as I showed you guys in the graphs, in all the charts that we've done so far. You buy lower bin batteries, rewrap them, and then tell people that they're higher bin batteries. Tell people that they're even better than higher bin batteries by embellishing all the numbers on it. Other companies have seen, you know, what eFest has been doing, how well their sales have been, and they've caught on and they've done the same, and it has caused a really, really nasty trend within our community of wrappers over rewrappers, embellishing numbers constantly, over and over again. You will see more and more different companies with 40 amp batteries, but at the end of the day, I will tell you straight up that at the moment, as of the date of this video, there is no such thing as a battery that will clock in at over 30 amps. Okay, not any normal everyday use battery. So that's it for the season finale of The Straightful, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this episode as I enjoyed making them for you. It's been quite a ride, and let me talk about a little bit more about what's going on season 2. All right, season 2 of The Straightful, we're going to kick it off with a live episode. I have not announced what the date of it is going to be. However, there's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of pony races in this one, okay? What we're going to do is that we're going to figure out all the best battery classes and put up heavy hitter versus heavy hitter. You guys will get to place your bets and gamble on which one that you think is going to win, and we're going to give out tons and tons of awesome prizes, about 15 prizes in total. There will be PVA and 40 bots. Yes, there will be aromamizers. Yes, there will be full lines of juice, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff that we're going to give out. We're going to give out battery lines and stuff like that. All sorts of huge prizes, okay? There will be another promo to remind you guys one more time, and the final date and time of exactly when the Straight Vault live episode will occur. So as always, friends, stay tuned on PVA, and as we always say here, vape clever. Take care, all.